Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm dropping my cards here. Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. I can't shuffle, and I can't do the overhand shuffle either. You'll probably hear me doing this, see my hand coming up like this, and just doing an overhand shuffle while I'm doing the intro here, which maybe I should get on with, huh? Okay. After record amounts of time for closing arguments are now done in the Donald Trump New York criminal trial. The defense basically portrayed Michael Cohen as a lying liar who lies, and you can't believe anything he said, so Donald Trump is not guilty. If you wanted, it's, oh yeah, and Stormy Daniels was extorting him. Didn't have sex with her at all. So, yeah, there's that. And then the prosecution opted for thoroughness over brevity, and even the bullet points here on the CNN article go a long time. But basically, he tried to rehabilitate Cohen's character, Stormy Daniels' character, especially saying that the extortion is bogus. That he called out an argument Trump attorney made about Cohen admitting he stole money from the Trump org. He argued that Cohen could be called a thief or say it wasn't a reimbursement, but not both. Then he addressed the money being reimbursed, handwritten notes versus Michael Cohen just paying for the money out of the goodness of his heart, and going over how David Pecker would have stood to make a lot more money releasing these stories on Trump. And the basic gist of it all was Donald Trump benefited from all of this. Nobody else benefited from this other than Donald Trump. So the judge is having the case start at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I think he expects that jury instructions will last about an hour, and then the jury should get the case, and they will start deliberating. So I'm going to throw real quick on the jury, how they viewed the testimony, the closing arguments today, and just the general energy around closing arguments, and then we can look forward to seeing what might happen once they get the case. Okay, entertainment purposes only, and all that. Energy around the jury during closing arguments. Okay, so we start with the Two of Cups. Both the defense and the prosecution providing their closing arguments. Donald Trump is the key figure in this case, and both the defense and the prosecution are reaching out to the jury saying, drink from our cup, believe what our cup says, ignore what that other guy's cup says, type of thing. And, imploring the jury, find him not guilty because he didn't do anything wrong. He was being extorted, and Michael Cohen is a liar and stuff like that. Whereas the prosecution saying, hey, look, he's the one guy who benefited from all this. We have all this evidence. Return that guilty verdict and go on with your lives and be happy. Oh, yeah, and lest I forget, the defense was basically saying that they shouldn't be deciding about locking Donald Trump up in prison, and that got an admonishment from the judge. Underneath it all is the King of Wands. The general energy of the jury is sitting here, listening to all the evidence, and now getting ready to take mature action towards that evidence. In the past, you have the Two of Swords. They had to come in and be unbiased. You have to listen to everything that the prosecution says and the defense says and what the cross-exams are to see if... now, you have evidence and testimony of experts. That's what you have to weigh. You don't get to... The cross-examination doesn't do anything other than it can impact your decision if the witness or the subject matter expert is credible or not. And the whole point of cross-examination is to poke holes in the credibility of the witness or the subject matter expert. Okay? So when you're on the jury, you have to come in and be impartial, or as impartial as you can be, because if Donald Trump's innocent, if he has not done this, you need to be able to determine that. You can't go in with that bias, say he's 100% guilty and I don't care what I hear. Same thing. You could be a big Trump supporter and really want him to be innocent of this, but you gotta listen and evaluate the evidence that's presented to you and base your judgment solely on that. Current energy is the Nine of Wands. It's been a long trial, and closing arguments took all day long. I think the defense was about 3 hours, and the prosecution was nearly 5. And the Nine of Wands is also about the penultimate battle. There's one more battle. You got to get through the judge's jury instructions tomorrow. Then you finally get this case that you've been sitting on for weeks. But here we are. We're at that moment. We've got one more hurdle to go over, and that's tomorrow when they get jury instructions, and then they can finally talk about this case amongst themselves. You can imagine going to this court every day, sitting next to these people every day, and you don't get to talk about what you're experiencing together. Tomorrow is going to be such a liberating day for the jury when they finally get to discuss what happened here. But here we go. Ready for prime time. Beautiful. Overarching energy is the Sun card. The truth has been revealed. Okay? Plain and simple, the truth's been revealed. The jury has seen all the evidence. It's up to them to determine what is factual and what is fiction, and then to rule accordingly. Basically, both attorneys were saying for them to use their common sense. It was ironic that Trump's attorney said the simplest answer is usually the right answer. Yeah, you think? To them, the simplest answer is Trump didn't know. Everybody's extorting him. All these people did these really generous things. That's a simple answer, but the actions are really, really improbable. And then because this one was extorting him, then Trump, throws Cohen throws 130,000, and Trump reimburses him for twice that because of taxes. Why didn't Trump just say she's a lying liar who lies? Because that's what he does about everything, right? Every time somebody comes up with something, he just says they're lying. So the fact that he paid this person in the form of Stormy Daniels, doesn't really fit the pattern of him. Or Donald Trump, who is running for president, doesn't want a story to get out, and he's desperate to do anything to get that story squelched. Which one sounds like... Oh, and then falsify business records and probably take a loss on it. No reason why you can't get a tax break off of this. And so, truth has been exposed here. Lesson to be learned is the Knight of Cups. You've got a group of problematic witnesses, especially on the defense. But, Michael Cohen is a problematic witness because he has been convicted of perjury. He's been convicted of lying. And the whole defense strategy was to say Michael Cohen is a liar and you shouldn't believe anything he says, so on and so forth. But in the end of the day, the Knight of Cups is discussing, it's in the lesson to be learned, the Knight of Cups is saying, who do you trust? Who was sincere? Who came across as authentic? And who came across as unauthentic? Mind you, the defense only called 2 witnesses, and one of them was a guy who put together a spreadsheet. The other one was Mr. Costello. And he was, to say the least, bombastic, and got the jury and everybody else kicked out of the courtroom so the judge could admonish him. So then it's, how sincere was David Pecker? How sincere was the lawyer, Mr. Davidson? How sincere was Stormy Daniels? How sincere was Michael Cohen? All indications were that those prosecution witnesses came across as sincere and authentic. Even Michael Cohen, who's a convicted liar and is being portrayed as a liar who lies, a lying liar who lies, but he admitted to everything that he did. So does that mean if he's a lying liar who lies and he admitted to doing lying stuff that he's telling the truth? So I guess you can believe him. Oh, the parable of the door that only lies or the door that only tells the truth. Outcome, deliberations time. Yeah, time for the jury to go in deliberations Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think they have their verdict on Friday. They will go back there. They will discuss all the charges. And again, you'll have like the jury foreman, a good Irishman with his Irish red hair, leading the charge and discussing it with people and basically coming up to a collaborative response that follows the law. Again, this jury seems solid. I know you're getting there's concern that there are plants or spies in the jury, that there's Trumpers that have snuck through there, and it only takes one juror to hang up the whole jury. I get that. I get that. But, and it may not even be the juror. It might be the juror's family that's influencing it. It might be two jurors that are like this. Yeah, that's a possibility. But if that's the case, they can always retry Trump. And that means that Trump's going to be in court again for another 4 or 5 weeks going through all of this, which means he's not, out there doing whatever it is he's doing because he's always in criminal court. And again, remember, part of this was to get the information about Trump, and it knocks him down a peg or two. It just shows him that he's a petty little man who does petty little things. And it's embarrassing. They didn't even get to talk about his misshapen shrunken mushroom. Other things. Okay. So the jury's getting the case. After jury instructions, what's the general vibe with the jury as they're debating what's going on? Do we have an authentic juror? Now, I've read on this jury about 5 times now, and every time I read on them, I get an authentic jury, and I don't see a reason why we won't have that this time. So, is this jury going to rule on the law? Ah! Yeah, cards are flying all over the place here. Keep shuffling. Keep shuffling. Keep shuffling. Okay, let's try this. Jury. The tower, bringing things down. Now, so again, some people have said, oh my God, there could be 2 Trumpers on here. There could be. Let's say there were. Let's say there were 2 Trumpers going into this jury that's like, yeah, we're Trumpers, we're going to support Trump. Does that card look like those 2 Trumpers are still supporting Trump and Trump Tower? Does that look like 2 people that maybe were living in Trump Tower? The lightning bolt came in, blew the top off of it, and blew them away, and down they're falling. Like King Kong off of the Empire State Building. Where's Kim from a Intuit View? If there were a couple of people on there that were really pro-Trump. They may not be so pro-Trump now, because guess what? Why are they pro-Trump? Because they probably get all their information from Fox News, or OAN, or Newsmax, or 4chan, or Steve Bannon, or any one of these guys that are out there just spreading lies. What happens when you take those people and then for the next 5-6 weeks of their life, you put them in a courtroom and you give them facts and evidence over and over and over again? And the only defense you see for Donald Trump is some guy yelling at the judge, saying "nuh-uh," and that the defense's only thing is to say is Michael Cohen is a lying liar who lies, versus everything else that you've seen. That even if your favorite mantra is just follow the money, they showed you the money. They showed you where the money went and who it was going to and who benefited from it. Again, it's not like these jurors got to watch Fox News the whole time and then decided. They had to watch the whole case. And now, funny, the people talking about 2 jurors. Now those 2 jurors have to weigh the evidence. 2 of coins. maybe their opinion of Donald Trump has declined a little bit. Maybe if there were jurors in there, this could just be, to me, this case is over and done with. The jury's going to weigh the evidence on here like they're supposed to. But if you had jurors who were pro-Trump, they're probably not so pro-Trump anymore. There's a lot of evidence against him. And maybe what they need is some people to explain to them, as the jury debates what happens and they start hearing other people's takes on it, that they might start looking down the road saying, oh my God, that makes sense. I don't want to convict him. You can still vote for Trump. You can still love Trump, but you got to review the evidence, and you got to base your decision on the evidence. You have to act on the evidence. This is not acting on passion. This is acting on evidence, even though the wand is a passion card here. And there's the evidence. 7 of coins in the past. Here's all the evidence. It's been laid out to you. You need to evaluate it. Let's go over it bit by bit by bit. Okay, so that could be the jail card. This is the jury coming together and coming to a verdict. This is not going to be a hung jury. They will come together with a verdict. It's funny because here we are with those 2 people again. Now, if those 2 people want to hold up the whole case, they could do it. I'm not saying they can't. They could absolutely do it. But to me, those 2 people are like, okay, we're waving the white flag. We're in. We're back on Earth 1 with the rest of you. If they've been on Earth 2 this whole time, they might just have been worn down to the point where it's like, oh yeah, okay, welcoming them back into the fold type thing. This also could be saying, we're going to send you to jail because there's your prison bars right there. The overarching energy is the Page of Pentacles. Just taking that data, looking at the data, looking at the evidence, weighing the evidence, looking at the volume of evidence, looking at the quality of evidence, looking at the integrity of the people that provided the evidence. The one speaking person for the defense, he was not credible. He was horrific. And you've got a bunch of credible witnesses. Okay, let's say you don't like Michael Cohen. Okay, you don't have to like him. What about David Pecker? What about Keith Davidson? What about Stormy Daniels? What about Hope Hicks? What about Rona Graff? What about the CFO that was talking on there? All these people, there was another gal that worked in receiving that was saying, Donald Trump signs everything. You have all this evidence. It's Trump's story. It doesn't hold water. The lesson to be learned is the Chariot. This case went on, and as the evidence came in, if there was resistance to the evidence, it was ground down. This was not an out-of-control case. This case was slow and steady and ground forward. Anytime, again, what was the defense? Remember? The defense was, we didn't want Melania to find out. But there's a lot of testimony saying Trump didn't care if Melania found out. In fact, if he was on the market, how long do you think he'd stay out there? It's kind of a believable thing to hear. And it's believable, like if this guy really was a multi-billionaire, you're right. He's not going to be on the market very long. There's going to be some woman who's going, or some guy, if Trump's gate swings both ways, who's more than willing to sacrifice their character for untold billions. And really, it's untold because it doesn't exist. But hey, if you're going after Donald for his money and it's fool's gold, well, who's the fool? Yeah. Oh, boy. But this case ground forward, the evidence was presented, and it's just irrefutable. It's black and white. The outcome is the 9 of Wands. I think this is the jury coming. The jury, it's taking time. They have to go through all the evidence. I still think it's going to be 3 days, so I think they'll be done by Friday. It's been a long slog. They've been waiting for this case. They're going to get it. But even after they give their verdict, it's not over for the jury, because at that point, the jury has to sort of lie low, because you don't know what's going to happen. Donald Trump will remain under the gag order, and they're going to try and protect the jurors' names, because they don't want the jurors to be threatened in any shape or form. This could even be, if you wanted to be the two jurors that were sort of supporting Trump, if we assume that there's two jurors supporting Trump, it might be like, oh my God, we're going to have to do this. Are we rhinos now? Are our friends and family going to, disown us because of this? Kind of an uncertain future for some of these people. And I know that some of the people, we had one woman that broke down in tears, said she couldn't be on it because, we know what happens to people that cross Donald Trump. He gets on social media and sicks his followers, his sycophants, his fanatics after you. And these folks have to be careful after that. Okay, I'm back. Just got a phone call from the vet that we adopted Elle from. They wanted to know how she was adjusting. It's like, give me 5 minutes here. I got to tell you about all this. She and Nico were doing great. It shot like a 3-minute video of the two of them just wrestling and pouncing on each other. It's been good. These two cats have been great for each other. Okay. Any messages from the jury? I was going to ask, how the jury comes out here. I think I know how it is. I would expect Friday. Any messages from the jury for folks? Ace of Cups. Strong emotions here. But maybe it's keeping your emotions in control. Heartbreak and betrayal. I think, interesting. That could be for the Trumpers. So we got that card again. Strong emotions here. It's been, and again, that weariness. It's been, these guys all need a vacation. They all need a vacation. If anybody needed like a 2-week vacation, a week, a couple days at home, a week away, and then another week at home type of thing, or going out to the woods or to the beach or someplace for a couple weeks just to decompress, it's these folks here. Tough decisions that they had to make, and it involves women and money, and it could be about somebody who's very wealthy who doesn't appreciate the wealth that they have. It could be about people who maybe don't have a lot of wealth, material wealth, but have a lot of wealth of character. They saw a lot of interesting characters in here. And if you think about it, who have you got? You got Donald Trump, the purported billionaire who cries poor mouse all the time. You've got David Pecker. This man wheels and deals and plays high-stake pokers with famous people. You've got Stormy Daniels, who is an adult film industry star and director of adult films, who's owned everything. You've got Michael Cohen, a man on a redemption arc, somebody who was close to Donald Trump, who went to prison for Donald Trump, and now is making it his personal vendetta that everybody knows who Donald Trump is. There's personalities around everywhere. Heartbreak and betrayal. Stormy Daniels was attacked. She didn't ask for that. The American people there was information involving women that should have been shared, that David Pecker and Keith Davidson squelched, so that we didn't have all the information we needed during the election to make an informed choice. There's fooling around on Melania while Melania's home with her baby. He had an affair with Karen McDougal, and then, he's assaulting Stormy Daniels while, again, Melania's home with a baby. There could be people that trusted that Donald Trump was an upstanding guy. Maybe he's not so upstanding after all. There's a thing about meeting your heroes. That sometimes it's not good to meet your heroes because they can disappoint you. This has not been an easy case for the jury to sit through, and it won't be easy for them afterwards because, again, if you've got family that are Trumpers and you're on that jury and it's unanimous that you're convicting them of felonies, guess what? If they know you're on that jury, they know exactly how you voted. And I'm sure they will be not shy at all about expressing their opinions to you. Because like that Ace of Cups shows, Trump brings a lot of passion, very polarizing emotions out of people. Imagine now if that person that is a Trumper is your husband or your brother or, your neighbor or something along those lines, your best friend. Hard times. So again, be kind in your judgment of the jury. They've been through a lot. And if it's a hung jury, it's a hung jury. There's nothing you and I can do about that. We weren't in that room. We didn't hear that evidence. We don't know what they're facing. I don't think it's going to be a hung jury, though. I really, really don't. And again, I get that 3 of coins. Maybe I should just ask. Okay, Spirit, how long roughly is it going to take the jury to go through the evidence? I still think it's going to be 3 days. I've gotten 2 to 3 days now a couple of times. They're going to get this case by Wednesday. They'll have half a day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and they could have it done by Friday. And if not Friday, it might be Monday of next week. But let's see. I got 3. How long will the jury have this case? How long will it take before the jury... Before the jury comes with the verdict. I think somebody told me, I think it said Sterling was predicting that the jury would have a verdict by Friday. Let's see. 2 days. So half a day Wednesday, all day Thursday, half a day Friday. Taking action. King of Swords, making that tough decisions. On the money. Justice being served. I wonder if that means 9 days later after the thing is when we have the... or 11 days, excuse me, after it is when we have the sentencing hearing. Empress 3. So I think the jury deliberates 2 days, and on the 3rd day we get the between 2 and 3 days. That puts you pretty much on Friday. Half a day Wednesday, all day Thursday. It could be half a day on Friday. It could be... So it's going to be Friday or Monday. Friday or Monday is when we get this. Okay? But the foundation of it's 2. They could have it as soon as Friday afternoon. Okay? And then I think, again, we got the King of Swords. I think to me, a lot of deliberation. They've come to an answer in justice. Page of Pentacles, I don't think, or Ace of Pentacles, I don't think this is fool's gold. I think they followed the money. The money basically explained everything to them. And I think they're actually, I don't know if this is a 3, like it takes 3 days. I think what this is that they are really comfortable with their decision. They've evaluated all the evidence, and they can sit comfortably knowing that they've made the right decision. Give them 2 days. Friday afternoon. Okay? Thank you. We'll see if that's right or not. That 2, I meant 2 weeks. I don't know where you got that 2 days from. Okay, we'll go with that. 2 days. I'm guessing Friday afternoon. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your kind words, your comments, your thumbs up, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience. For those discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. Glad you found us. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.